everyone. This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? I'm currently sat in the dark in my office, and I hope that the camera setup's quite nice and the audio setup as well. I hope, since this is a brand new mic, that it's not like my old one where if I dared move it to do a different type of video, it would just break. So I hope it's okay. We're going to carry on with our series, guys, of doing a deep dive on different clubs, and today, due to the sheer mass of people asking for it, we're going to look at AC Milan. I'm really into Serie A because I'm a big Roma fan, so I'm aware that they're struggling this year, and we're going to take a look. I got loads of comments asking for this video. I've got loads of other comments. Comment again, ask if you haven't asked already, and the more of a particular club that I see, the greater chance that it'll come to the top of the list. Okay. This is Serie A currently. Inter and Napoli tied at the top. Atalanta, then Bologna. Juve, then Roma, then Lazio. But due to the Pope's passing this weekend, some matches have been delayed until midweek. RIP. And then you have Fiorentina, and that's right, down in at 9th place. Even I, when I went to look for them, I opened Serie A. And I thought to myself, oh, where are they? I forgot that they'd gone so low as that. So if you look at their record this season, 33 games played so far, 14 wins. They didn't start the season as bad as this. They have fallen away. 9 draws and 10 losses. And in the last 5 matches, they've got 2 wins and a draw, but then 2 losses. Let's do a deep dive on this season and see where it's gone wrong. Incidentally, it says next match is tomorrow, so this video will probably come out on the weekend, so this match will have happened by then in Coppa Italia with the Milan derby. That's a tricky one, isn't it? Okay. It says here daily summary. This is FotMob, incidentally, because I get a lot of comments asking me what am I using, FotMob. It says AC Milan suffered a 1-0 defeat at home to Atalanta, no shame in that, leaving them in 9th place in Serie A and 20 points behind league leaders Inter with just 5 games remaining. Manager Sergio Conceição is facing increased pressure and speculation about his future at AC Milan, despite winning the Supercoppa Italiana earlier in the season. AC Milan are showing interest in on-loan Chelsea midfielder Andre Santos, who's been impressing at Strasbourg, blah blah blah. So I think AC Milan are quite big in the States, actually. I think they're one of the top teams in the States, but not just because Pulisic plays for them, but just in general. This has been apparently according to FotMob, their team this season. I haven't watched them that often. So they've had Magic Mike in defence, Mignon. Even he's been underperforming, which is a bit of a shocker. Tamori, one of their English contingency. Gabbia Pavlovic, who's had a good season actually. I've noticed him, he played well when Roma played against AC. Jimenez, he's only a youngster, right? 19-year-old Spaniard. Fofana in the middle there with Rangers. And then Theo Hernandez, as we know, if you watch this channel a lot, he's on my blacklist. I'm not a fan of Theo Hernandez. And then Pulisic, Jovic up front, and who's only scored 2 goals. That's the way he goes, isn't he? He has a good season, then terrible season, then he gets a transfer after a good season, and then he goes rubbish again. And the very special player of Rafa Leao, who I wonder, is he going to put up with not having European football next season if they don't win the Coppa Italia? Okay, let's look at matches specifically. We'll go back to August of last year when the start of the season happened. Club friendlies, everything seemed to be fine. Beat Real Madrid, beat Man City, drew with Barcelona, and then the season started. So was that friendly? That was a friendly apparently against Monza. So the drew opening day at home to Torino, lost to new guys in the league, Parma, then drew away to Lazio, that's fine, it's a difficult away day, then beat Venezia at home. So at this point you think, okay, everything's fine. Lost at home to Liverpool, but who hasn't this season? Then won in the local derby against Inter, technically in San Siro as the away team. So like I said, the start of the season wasn't that bad. Then we go on to a 3-0 win against Lecce, fine, Champions League loss, okay. Then away loss to Fiorentina, who've been a bit of a surprise package this year. Home win to Udinese, home win to Club Brugge. Loss home to Napoli, but Napoli were flying high at the time. Then local team Monza beat them 1-0, then beat Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Then draw against Cagliari, then draw against Juve. And at this point you're thinking, everything's fine. Win against Slovan Bratislava, 3-0 win against Empoli, 6-1 win in the Coppa Italia against Sassuolo from the league below. Lost to Atalanta, okay, no problem. Then beat Red Star in the Champions League, draw with Genoa, 1-0 win against Verona, Milan, Roma, that was a 1-all, refresh my memory, oh yeah, Tiani, Reinders and Dybala. And then the Supercoppa Italia, win over Juve and a win over Inter again. So at this point, their win record over their local rivals is really good. I'm starting to think, why are they so low? Draw with Cagliari, win away to Como, then a loss to Juve, Champions League win against Girona, beat Parma, then the tide starts to turn a little bit at this point, I think. A loss away to Dinamo Zagreb, which at the time was heralded as this massive, massive result. Piazza scoring the winner, who has played in Serie A most of his career. Another draw to Inter here. Beat Roma in the Coppa Italia with on loan Tammy Abraham scoring 2 goals against his actual team that owns him. And they've sort of bought a lot of good players at this point. They're in February now, and they spent well at Christmas, or in January I should say. A win against Empoli, and then a loss in the Champions League against Feyenoord. And that's the first leg. Then they beat Hellas Verona, and then they draw at home with Feyenoord in the second leg. And at that point, they're out of Europe, and that was quite unexpected, so that put a lot of pressure on. I believe the manager gets sacked around this point because the knock-on effect, as you can see there, all that red. Lost to Torino, lost to Bologna, lost to Lazio, and at this point we're sliding. A win against Lecce and a win against Como, but they're both, well, Como's done quite well actually, they're more like mid-table, but Lecce down the bottom. And then another loss to Napoli. And then you've got a draw in the first leg of the Coppa Italia. How many times have they played into this season? That's like crazy. I think we're up to like number 4 or 5 now. And then a draw with Fiorentina, handsome win against Udinese, but then a loss at home to Atalanta. So it's not catastrophic, but I think actually more than anything, apart from this bit of time here, their record against the top teams has not been great, apart from Inter. They've lost to Lazio, Milan, a draw with AS Roma. They've not done well in either game against Fiorentina. The Seven Sisters, as we call them, lost to Juve. So yeah, those bigger teams, although they beat Juve there. So yeah, though, you know, it's not like appalling, but it's such a competitive league, particularly this year, that it's been a massive slide. They obviously got rid of their manager, Fonseca, and they brought in another Portuguese, but he's in himself, he's, particularly for Portuguese, he's extremely consistent. I was extremely passionate, and I remember the game, was it the game against Roma? Or maybe it was the Champions League match, I can't remember which one I was watching for Milan this year, but the manager, I think he may have got sent off. He just went nuts over something really minor. It's not the sort of, they just need a little bit of stability at the moment. They have seemed to score lots of goals in certain matches, but then not in others. Let's have a look what they got left. So again, Inter. Then they've got Venezia, Genoa away both, Bologna at home, then they're away to Roma, and then they're at home to Monza, and that's the last game of the season. Before two club friendlies against Arsenal and Liverpool. Don't you love a club friendly at the end of the season? Oh my god, if I were a player I would hate that. So yeah, so it doesn't look that appalling, really. It's quite strange that they've done that far, but let's have a look. 51 points. So a win takes them up a place. They are 6 points from 6th place and getting back into Europe in some fashion. It is doable, particularly in this division, but their form is just patchy, isn't it? I think from what we were seeing, that's fairly typical, you know, the fact that it's like win, loss, draw, win, loss, maybe draw next. Yeah, it's just not consistent enough, and it's not what you'd expect from a Milan side that expects to be up this part of the table. What do you think as a Milan fan, if you've been watching them this season? What do they like to watch? I can't say I've seen a massive amount of them, but they have, like I said, particularly in the January transfer window, they bought well. Santiago Jimenez, 27 million, there was talk of him going to Real Madrid at one point. Joao Felix, he's a little bit of a journeyman at this point, he doesn't seem to settle anywhere, does he? Sotil from Fiorentina, on loan, very good winger. Who else on it? Kyle Walker, obviously. Fofana, Tammy Abraham. He went at the start of the season. Pavlovic has been a really good signing for them. I was never a fan of Emerson Royal when he was at Spurs. And Morata is in my blacklist. He's in my little black book, along with Theo Hernandez. I'm not a massive fan, I'm afraid. I just don't think he's consistent enough with his goal scoring. He scored 2 in 7 matches with 1 assist and a rating of 6.8. That's what I mean. I just think he'll score an absolute blinder and then in a miss from 5 yards. Has that been your experience of him this season? Or this half of the season? As he's on Galatasaray on loan. I'm sure you would have preferred to have AC Milan if he had been available. Yeah, so I think they've got a really, really good squad. They've got Mike in goals, they've got Kyle Walker, Florenzi, Theo Hernandez, Tomori, Gabia Pavlovic, Malik Tiao. Then you've got Loftus-Cheek, lots of English players. Joao Felix, Rangers, who's absolutely fantastic. Fofana, Yunus Musa is very good. Lukalovic, who's up and down, isn't he? How many? Is it 2 goals he scored? Who's scoring that goal then? It's Pulisic. Chukwueze is very good. Leao, he scored 7 goals. And Santiago Jimenez has scored 2 goals. Yeah, we've got no one like really high goals, have you? Sotil scored 1. Where's Pulisic? He scored 9. So your winger is your main goal scorer this season. 8 assists and 9 goals. He's got nothing to be embarrassed about. What a season for him. Yeah, he's carrying the team, isn't he? That's not good. Tammy has scored 3 goals. Yeah, same experience as Roma, but I think it sounds like we're doing a permanent swap and we are keeping Salamakers, which I'm very happy about because he, for us, has been fantastic, and Tammy has been pretty bad after his first season, which was very good. In fact, Rangers has scored 10. That's incredible that your top goal scorer is your midfielder. And I wouldn't even describe him as an attacking player. He's quite defensive usually. Maybe those are penalties, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's a fantastic player. I can't remember, who did you buy him off? Alkmaar. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a cracking player. You need to try and keep hold of him. Interesting. Okay, well, let me know what you think about how AC Milan season has gone so far. It seems to me it's just very inconsistent in what has been an unprecedentedly very competitive Serie A season, and I think that usually it's probably enough to get like 4th or 5th place, but this year there are a lot of teams like Bologna, Fiorentina, pushing to get into the top of the table and into those European spots, so it's trickier than usual in the league. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments who else you'd like me to do a deep dive in the next video. Take care everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.